Evening. Thanks for joining us. Charges, that is, filed today after another act of gun violence at Erb Park in Appleton.
Authorities say a man fired a gun in the air last night near the pavilion, sending people scattering. 19-year-old Tyrese Simmons charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm and second-degree recklessly endangering safety, among other counts. Late this afternoon, his cash bond was set at $150,000.
Brittany Schmidt joins us live from the Outagamie County Courthouse after learning this isn't the suspect's first run-in with police. Brittany.
Cami and Bill, 19-year-old Simmons is certainly known to law enforcement in the area. The deputy district attorney made that crystal clear today in court. The charges filed today now makes 3 open cases against Simmons. It's the reason Deputy District Attorney Nick Grody asked for a high cash bond today. According to the criminal complaint, Simmons went to Erb Park on a moped around 8 p.m. last night, took a gun out of his backpack and fired several shots into the air. Grody says Simmons is on bond for a similar incident that happened in April in Calumet County, where he was at a party and fired his semi-automatic gun into the air. According to that criminal complaint that we got today, Simmons told authorities he bought that gun from an unknown person in Milwaukee for about $300. Simmons' public defender acknowledged the allegations today in court, but says her client denies them. The deputy DA pointing out investigators believe they have strong evidence against Simmons from last night's incident.
There's extremely good evidence in this case, as there were numerous witnesses. And officers found the defendant only a few blocks away driving a moped that individuals saw him flee the scene with, and he had the firearm in his backpack.
That firearm, authorities say that they found inside Simmons' backpack had the serial numbers scratched off. When ordering bond today, the court commissioner also added on absolute sobriety and no possession of a firearm, which he says, quote, should be a common sense for a convicted felon anyways, end quote. Reporting live in Appleton, Brittany Schmidt, Action 2 News.